Theme song. 3, 2. And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website, and I think you should go there. Welcome back in, everybody, to an episode that should have aired 2 weeks ago. Here we are talking about the episode 317. I don't know where I was going with this. Hey, listen. As I said, this should have aired 2 weeks ago, so we're just going to get right into it. I've got a special interview with a return guest, Ryan Hansen, my good friend from the TV shows Party Down and Veronica Mars. Today, we'll be talking about Night Court. He plays Melissa Rauch's boyfriend on that show. It's a very funny time, and I mean, truly, I do like Night Court. We know I'm a huge fan of Night Court original, so let's talk about that. I love Night Court original. And Night Court reboot. Night Court sequel series reboot, I guess. Is a funny show too. So if you like today's character actors popping up on TV shows, people like Ryan Hansen. I don't know if you could call him a character actor. He has been a leading man a couple of times. Anyway, Ryan Hansen is back in season 3 of Night Court, and he is Abby Stone's boyfriend, and they're taking things slow. There's a 2-part premiere. I don't know if that was I mean, it was 2 parts, but I don't know if they aired them both in the same night, because quite frankly, I watched them both before they aired. That's what happens when you have screeners, baby. You can watch them whenever you want. Not really. But there's a 2-part premiere, and just harken back to the old days when, there's a spider crawling down the wall. the old days when, I'm keeping an eye on it, when, oh God, when not late night shows, I'm sorry, when sitcoms, this spider threw me off, when sitcoms had to deal with very, very, and this is not a knock on Night Court, but like very schlocky, thin premises. So, listen, I'm going to throw to this interview. Check it out. Night Court, Season 3 on Peacock, YouTube TV, wherever you get your TV from. And then I'm gonna kill this spider. Hold on, the thing is, it's disappearing behind the wall. I killed it with my thumb. Was that cool? I don't know. I hope this is the theme song. Guys, I'm all over the place. I don't know what's going on. Who am I? Okay, so you can check this out. I'm going to break right now. It is the theme song. Okay, I'm going to break right now, and I'm sorry you had to watch me commit bugicide. So, bye. See you soon. No, Ryan. Actually, we spoke earlier this year, and you asked that same question.
I know. I was just gonna say I think I asked that before, but I'm gonna ask you every time.
It's all right. Hey, look, I appreciate it. It's something I look forward to. It'll be our thing. Just like Paul Rudd and Conan have that one clip
That's
from Short
right.
Circuit.
No, it's Mac and Me, dude.
Back in me, excuse me. Oh my God, I can't believe I said Short
I
Circuit.
remember watching Mac and Me in the theater and walking out crying. I was so terrified of that movie. This doesn't make any sense, I know, because it's not a scary movie,
I
but
was
I was
like,
freaked out.
I was like, is it bad? Is it good? I've never seen it.
It's so creepy. The alien guy freaked me out. I was scared of aliens as a kid. I don't know why.
What about now? Are you still afraid of aliens?
I don't know if they're. No, I'm not. I
Yeah.
don't know if they're. They would be here. Maybe they're here.
Yeah.
No, I'm not
They're walking
scared.
around us right now.
Probably.
Well, how's it going? How's the press for this new season of Night Court been going? Now that you're a part of the cast and recurring part of the cast and
Kind
everything.
of. It's great. It's so cool to still be a part of it. Such a rad show, and from a legendary beginning, and it's so cool to be a part of a show with Melissa and John Larroquette, and yeah, I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just watched the second part to the two-part premiere and or the start of the season, and it feels as though you were there for such a long time. The acting was so effortless, especially with like and this is not no offense to the show, but like a cliche of a storyline. Just like
Sure.
is he the son of one of the main characters? And then they go through this whole rigmarole, and I think it's still very funny because I still think it pays off and everything works because you're still connected to everybody no matter what happens in the end.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think it's like Jake thinking about at this age in his life, if Dan is, not having a father growing up, and if Dan's the guy, and then Dan also like kind of getting connected to it, they make the stakes kind of high, because you kind of see them bond and all that stuff. It's really, I think it was really fun to do. Because I didn't get that many scenes with John earlier, I mean, we'd have like
Right.
a couple lines here and there, but to get to really dig in with him was a blast because you know, he's a legend. So it was very fun.
Yeah, and I feel like his character has really, at the start of the series, he was kind of a hard ass compared to how he was in the original show. And now in season three, he's been really whittled down because Abby is that type of person to just grate on somebody to where they have to accept who she is. And now he can be silly and play with you, and you guys can fix an Aeron chair,
Yeah.
and like I think it's very funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was so cool. Yeah, it's fun to see his playful side. And in real life too, like he'll be very serious about the script, and then all of a sudden he's just like the goofiest, silliest kid.
Yeah.
So he plays those both sides in real life too, which is so fun. Yeah.
What was it when you got up from fixing the chair? There's a very funny detail where you had grease on your forearm, like you were fixing a car. And I have to know, was that you? Was that the costume department, the makeup? Because that was a very funny detail that was unnecessary.
I know, totally. I think it was Dan, our showrunner, wanted us to look like we're really like working on a car or something, but it's really like an Eames lounger or whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so dorky, and we're not really manly men, but we're fixing a chair. Like, it's so good. No, definitely wasn't my idea, but I loved it. I thought it was really funny.
No, I think you guys are pretty manly men. I saw it when I saw you stand next to Melissa Rauch for the first time. I was like, "Holy cow!" Like this man. Like I know she's a short person, but
She's
it was
tiny,
insane.
dude. And
Yeah.
and she's so tiny, and she's still like wearing like pumps or whatever, or heels or
Oh, good Lord.
whatever. So she's even smaller than that, man. She's so cute and such a little powerhouse.
Yeah.
She's awesome. I love her.
I thought it was very funny to see you like crane your neck over to kiss her. And then, like,
Yeah, totally.
that was wonderful.
Totally. I was
Uh,
gonna make a joke like I have practiced doing that, kissing my daughters, but then that would just be weird because
yeah.
yeah, that's weird. So we're gonna cut that out.
What was it like working with Wendy Malick too? Because she is just such a wonderful person, and like to see that you share scenes with her too was just fantastic.
Chad, I'm gonna be honest. It's actually really hard working with her because it's hard to focus when you have a crush on someone, um, and you have to work with them
Yeah.
alongside of them. She is so talented, and there's just like this elegance about her and her like strength and her beauty. She's such a babe. She's
Yeah. Yeah.
and so cool. I love her. She's great. I'm in love with her.
You better tell your wife.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, in my yeah, no. In my character is not in love with her either. I like her a lot.
Yeah. She's
Yeah.
wonderful. Is it the voice? Is it the look? Like I know you just named a bunch of things, but for me, it's that voice. If she said anything to me, I would be like, yes, ma'am, I'm right
Oh,
on top of it.
totally. It's the voice. It's there's some sort of presence about her that's like I don't she just kind of floats through life
Mhm.
and she's so strong and powerful but like elegant and I don't know she's just so cool. I don't
Yeah.
know what it is.
Yeah, I love her. What did you bring from last season and what are you building on from those from the appearing in the last season now in this season now that you're going to be a much bigger character with longer role?
Yeah, I think like the connection with Jake and Abby, like they're way more comfortable with each other. They can talk about stuff. They do weird things together, all of that. And then so I think that's really, really cool. And it kind of frees up my character too. It's not like we're like on the first date stages,
Yeah.
where you kind and I'm like the not the HR guy only, where I'm
Yeah.
like I'm a professional. So this kind of it just makes it a little more freeing for my character and for her to kind of play a little more, which is fun. So it keeps it light. And then also, it gets kind of heavy at some points too, so you kind of get both of those, which is cool.
I'm wondering, if you weren't playing this character who was dating one of the main characters and you were somebody who's appearing in a guest role as, you as somebody going to court, what would the scenario be? Would it be as wacky as they were in the original series or as they are the way they now?
That's a good question. I don't know. Like if I wasn't Jake, but I was someone on the show, is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, just like somebody who Dan is defending.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I'd probably be some weirdo. I don't know. That like has some weird kink that he has to defend. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's we have to work on that because that's my
Yeah.
favorite part of the show. I love Night Court when, especially in the original series, when it's that old couple that the country couple rather who would just always pop back up in court because of one crazy story or another.
Wait, was there a recurring couple that would come into court on night court back in the day?
Yeah, yeah, and they were I forgot who was played by, but they were one of them's like became like a sitcom guy, so they had to leave. But in one episode, they were abducted by aliens, and nobody believed them.
Ah, that's so good.
Yeah, I completely forgot what they're called. All
I
right,
love it.
well, Ryan, this has been fantastic to come back and talk to you now that you're not mobile. The first time you were in the car, now you're
Totally.
stationary. This is fantastic. I get to see you sitting behind in the palm trees, breezing behind you and
On
everything.
vacation, baby.
Yeah, I love it, man. Well, congratulations on this new season. I'm so happy for you. I love seeing you pop up places. I love seeing you star in things, and hopefully, you get more chances to continue being a funny guy.
Ah, thanks, Chad. I appreciate you, dude. Hey, keep painting, huh?
You know what? I will. I will. This is not the last time you'll see this. I promise you.
Totally. All right, see you, buddy. Thank
All
you.
right. And we're back. Okay, welcome back to the show. Hopefully, I did everything right and it sounds good and I merged everything perfectly. Welcome back in. Constitutionals. Took some time off. We watched a couple of movies. I did the whole, last year when, also, if you watched Late Night Lately, 47, you might have seen this sweatshirt sitting well behind me on the kitchen table where now the cardigan is sitting. And look, let me tell you, I'm doing these back to back like I usually do. I meant to do this one yesterday, and quite frankly, I took a nap. That's what happened to me. You also might notice that the sweatshirt I have on is the same color as the t-shirt I had. Not t-shirt, the long sleeve. Yeah, long sleeve t-shirt I had on. They're both different companies. The sweatshirt's Lululemon. The t-shirt is from Target. And they just so happen to be, if you're watching the video, I'm doing it, basically a similar version of color. Also, I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, on the video, if you're watching it, it might be a little hot. But there's a dirt spot from the dog park. One day, I took Maverick to the dog. I think like 2 weeks ago. Took him to the dog park, middle of the day, And all the dogs that have been, there, everybody left after some time. And I was like, I got to give this guy some more runaround time. And I want you to imagine it's noon, probably 12:30. It's like 12:30 or 1 o'clock. And there's the dog park is a free dog park that's near a highway entrance near a very busy roads, and it's at a cross street, and it's huge. But if you have a car, you can look into the dog park. I mean, you have a car obviously on this road, but people can, if they're going to be stuck in traffic, entering the highway, they can just turn their head and look at the dog park and see like some idiot running around with his dog because there's no other dogs there. So I'm like running around, literally just like running around Maverick, and it had previously rained like a day before. At some point, so prior to me getting there, I go, I shouldn't wear this because I'm going to the dog park because this is like an expensive sweatshirt. At some point, I slip when I'm running and just land on the ground because Maverick runs in front of me. Land on the ground, and my entire just like elbow is caked in mud. And I come home and I immediately wash this thing, and I'm just left with that. So I'm thinking about either spot treating it myself or taking it to the dry cleaner. Such a boring person. I saw a couple of movies. I did last year. I did not do the thing where you go see Barbie and Oppenheimer one day. I wasn't sure if I was going to see Barbie in theaters, and then I saw it. But and we all know that I drove to Mall of Georgia to see Oppenheimer. So that was a great experience to drive up there to watch this movie and then go to Cheesecake Factory. But I saw in one day Wicked. I saw Wicked first at 9 a.m. and then I saw a showing of Gladiator 2 at 1 p.m. The original idea was to see Wicked at 9 a.m. and see Gladiator at 12. And I was advised by somebody that Wicked would not let out in time. And I said, you're wrong. I do double features all the time. I do double features all the time. It's going to work. And there was a point during Defying Gravity when I looked down at my watch and I go, all right, we're at the end. Let's see what time it is. It was like 12:20 something. And I went, oh, I missed it. I fully am about to miss this, which is fine. I had to get home and take Maverick out anyway. But there weren't a lot of people in the Wicked showing, which was great. I would say out of like the entire theater, if there was 100 seats, there were 10 people, including me, and I still sat in my regular seat up front. Well, I mean, in the second row. This very important. In the third row, excuse me. And this edge aisle seat. Very important I say that because that morning, yes, because that was a Tuesday. Because I had to. That's right. There was a leg day, and I was so hungry, and I got to the theater. I had to bring my breakfast, and I brought coffee, and I was just like munching down my breakfast, and a lot of other food. But that morning I'd done legs, and I cycle on Tuesdays too. Cycle on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. And so I was doing Peloton classes, and I said I have to do less than what I usually do, which still is too much. And I got out of here on time. I got there at 9:23, and the movie started. The credits, not credits. The trailers had just ended, and the AMC, like the Nicole Kidman thing, popped up, and the movie just started. I was so excited. I did the same thing for Gladiator 2. I was very excited. I walked in at 1:20 on the 1:25, and the movie literally just started. I was like, oh my god. During Gladiator 2, or prior to Gladiator 2, I was looking for tickets to buy. And when I'd bought the Wicked tickets ahead of time, well, technically when I was on the bike, but when I was cycling on the bike, I bought the Wicked ticket, and I looked at and I was thinking which Gladiator show can I make it to, because I was really listening to this person. I was like, you know what, they might be right. I might not be able to see this noon showing. They have a 105 showing. Let me go to that. So I'm at home. I bring Maverick. I take Maverick out. I leave him out. We're doing this thing now where he's leaving. He's staying outside the crate. But I do move stuff. You can't touch that. where he's staying outside the crate while I'm gone, and I heard me talking about him. And Nova's in charge. I put her in charge. She's older. You're 6 now. You're a big girl. So I drove there. And I thought I could drive home and drive back. Thank goodness I didn't, because there was so much traffic. This is pre-Thanksgiving. This is Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and I also have to cook that day too. And so I come home, take Maverick out. I grab the bike, pack a lunch, bike over there. 125 hits. But I previously bought my ticket at 1:00 because I couldn't make that noon showing. No seats were left, with the exception of the entire front row, including usually the seat that I would sit in if I was 2 rows back or a row back. People were, look, I understand that this might be you're a part of this internet fad. Oh, the wicked glick, whatever it's called, wicked glicked, glicked. It's glicked. I'm gonna see 2 movies. I love this movie. It's gonna be a big Oscar. All this stuff. I don't need to hear commentary. I don't need to hear people talking. I don't need to hear phones go off, and all that crap happened while I was at Gladiator 2. Which is not fine. I don't like that. I just had a great idea, and I'm doing some jury rigging because I think this is gonna have to be a light episode. But I just don't want to hear people talk. I don't want to hear people do anything. Just watch the movie. What do you have to comment about? Just don't say anything. The entire time, I'm just like, I like fingers to my head. Just come on. Yeah, this movie has got to be done at some point. But I do think that ruins movies. I know people love going to the movie theaters and like hearing people comment on things, hearing people respond, react. No, I could go to a movie by myself and have that entire enjoyment. All right, let's hop into the stories. Now I did just move about 5 stories down. So when I started again, this was supposed to come out 2 weeks ago. I had roughly 9 stories lined up, 5 of which are a part of the same chunk. But I feel like that is better served for news time, so I will be doing that. Again, news time is coming back. Let's get on with the first story. ESPN is finally on Disney Plus. This is a move that I championship, I laud, and that I also kind of am a little not sad. Sad's not the term, but a little down at. Again, when I saw this news, I got the email and I was on the computer when it happened. And I went, "Oh, this is great." I went to Disney Plus, couldn't find it. Went on the iPad, went on the phone, couldn't find it. But everything has changed. I just saw the light change in front of me. It's on automatic. It turns from white to whatever colors, whatever, sunset or whatever. I was so excited for it, but I'm coming at it from two ends. This kind of spells the end for Hulu. Like, what is Hulu for if not to have an easier way to get to ESPN Plus, which is the ESPN component of the Disney Plus ecosystem, the Disney streaming ecosystem. But it also makes Disney Plus a fully featured streamer. This comes from Variety, written by Brian Steinberg. ESPN makes way to Disney Plus in bid to catch families, casual sports fans. Now, this is from what I can tell, all of ESPN Plus, wherein you can watch all of the shows like the Peyton's Places and Peyton Manning and Bill Belichick, play-by-play show, whatever that show is called, and other things, as well as 30 for 30 stuff, alongside live games. Like last night, there were hockey games going on, so I watched a little bit of the Philadelphia Flyers game just to see what it was like on Disney Plus. And I will say this on Hulu, even though it's a slow interface for live things, and trust me, I watched a lot of golf this year. I watched so much golf this year. If there was a recap, like Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, they have those recaps. If there's a recap for golf, I would have watched a majority of it. PGA only. I'm not watching live. I have a lot of issues with live. Got a lot of issues with those players, and I'm so pissed that they got away scot-free. That's blood money. And there's no. Anyway. But the Hulu interface, at least you can bounce around between. There were I think 2 or 3 hockey games going on. On Disney Plus, you had to click into a game and that's all you got. On Hulu, because it has that live interface with Hulu with live TV, I could open up the guide, slow as molasses, but I could open up the guide and go from one hockey game to another hockey game to a college basketball game, which is, I think, a very important part of this. But again, does that matter to somebody who's watching ESPN Plus on Disney Plus? And then on top of that, several months ago, they unlocked the ability for people who also subscribe to Hulu to get Hulu shows and movies on Disney Plus. So now you're really paying that $26 a month and getting access to everything on one app. Which begs the question, what will happen to, and I've not read this article yet, what will happen to Hulu? For me, what will happen to Hulu? For me, I'm keeping Hulu because I want to keep all that stuff separate. Disney Plus is only for me to watch, truly to have nostalgia trips on movies and TV shows. Pepper Ann, Hercules, the Little Mermaid TV show, to watch Pixar movies. I just rewatched Soul for the first time, rewatched it for the first time. I just rewatched The Good Dinosaur, and it still sucks, but I do not like The Good Dinosaur. People say Cars is the worst one. No, Cars 2 sucks. It is by far one of the worst Pixar movies. But Cars 1 and Cars 3 are so good. And I'm not kidding you. I'm not doing a put on or anything. I was playing a playlist when I was taking a shower on Monday or Tuesday, and Life is a Highway came on from Cars by Rascal Flatts and Keith Urban, I believe. And I'm sitting there and shouting, "Life is a highway." I love that song. It's so good. I love Cars. Cars is so good. And The Simpsons. But I'm not going to Disney Plus to watch American Dad or 30 Rock and also I'm watching KIF. I like KIF. KIF is a good show. And what's the Spanish Loud House? What's it called? Not the Casagrandes. What is that called? I don't know what it's called. Spanish Loud House. Oh my God. I feel so bad for calling it Spanish Loud House, but that's what it is. If you've ever seen the Loud House on Nickelodeon, it's a very popular show. It had a spinoff called The Casagrandes, which is literally the Spanish Loud House. But there's also Primos. That's what it's called. And it takes place in LA, and it's about cousins that are all living in the same house for the summer. And it's fun. I think but on Hulu I'm watching all the other stuff on Hulu. But it's so strange for them to be like, no, Hulu's going to stay, and for all of this functionality to be on Disney Plus. And I'm sure there are families out there who go, great, now we can delete ESPN Plus now we can delete Hulu. I prefer Disney Plus, and everybody can watch it, and it's got the streams, it's got ESPN Plus, it's got Hulu stuff on it for mom and dad, or dad and dad, or mom and mom. And it's also going to be a place where you can watch the Simpsons ESPN football game, Monday Night Football game, which I have to watch because Dallas will be playing during that game too. I'm a Dallas fan, so it's gonna be a night. Either I enjoy it, I'm so happy, or I'm gonna be so sad, but I'm still laughing because the Simpsons are happening. In the same vein, we've got in the same way, rather, I guess, I don't know. This comes from The Wrap, and it's still unlocked. Lucas Manfredi writes that Max launches live feeds of HBO programming and new in-app channels feature. This is something that is so far behind that they should have done a long time ago. Add in that functionality. What the channels feature is essentially in the same way that Paramount Plus, you can watch CBS, you can watch CBS News, live streaming channels. HBO is bringing its cable part over to the app. So, yes, you can already watch CNN shows, international and regular CNN proper, live on there. You can watch basketball and football and NASCAR and all these other sports on there. And now you can also watch HBO 2, HBO Signature, Comedy Zone, all those live on the app, which is great. It really harkens back to the days of cable. I really, as somebody who, this is why, there's a lot of reasons why I have YouTube TV, mostly because I like to waste money, but this is a very big reason why YouTube TV still works, because I can just put something on and go do something else. I can go in the kitchen. I can go to the bathroom. I can go, I can just like have something constantly playing in the background without having to fiddle with. You have on these streaming platforms, you have to choose something to watch. You have to intentionally go, I'm going to watch Queer Eye on Netflix, and I'm going to put it on and it's playing. On Hulu, I'm going to watch 30 Rock. Put it on, it's playing. On Peacock, I'm going to sit down and watch SVU. Put it on, it's playing. But I love these live streaming networks. I love them. I love that these companies are bringing over their, like, Paramount Plus has been doing it for a long time. You can watch CBS on there when it's CBS All Access. I love that you can watch these things because it takes away a lot of the guesswork. Truly, sincerely, it takes away, like, hey, if I know Dune Prophecy is going to be on Sunday at 9 p.m., I'm going to just turn on the channel. It just makes it easier. I could turn on the streaming thing, but sometimes the streaming thing doesn't work. I've never seen a second of Dune Prophecy. I will at some point. I just don't have time to watch a lot of stuff right now. I'm playing Indiana Jones comes out on Xbox soon. I'll be playing that game. And a lot of people, and if you don't believe that people watch this stuff, the Disney Plus Playtime and ABC News streams have drawn over 10 million hours of streaming since the feature launched, and the company has seen, quote, early signs of overall engagement lift among subscribers who watch them. And this is what I don't get, and I should move along because it's been 25 minutes, but and plus Ryan's interview. But this is what I don't get about streaming platforms, is that let's make more playlists. Let's do playlists. I think about, I was on Peacock looking to watch Despicable Me 4, and I'm back on Peacock, baby. I got that $20 for annual. Black Friday. I said, I got to watch Despicable Me 4. Watched it 2 days ago. Oh boy. You know what? It's better than 2. I don't like 2. Except for the last part when they're doing the Boys of Men. The minions are doing Boys of Men. That made me laugh so hard. It makes me laugh thinking about it. Anyway. But I think that playlists really, really work. If I was Disney Plus, I would, and Halloween rolled around, I would make a Treehouse of Horror Simpsons playlist. There's 30 episodes. On Mother's Day, I would make, here's Marge's best episodes. Here's Marge's funniest times or whatever. On Hulu, on Father's Day, Peter's a crazy dad. Because on Max, on Thanksgiving, they had a section. It wasn't a playlist, but it was a section of Friends Thanksgiving episodes from all 10 seasons. On Peacock, they regularly do playlists. So you can watch a playlist of, and I don't know if it autoplays from, like a season 4 episode to a season 8 episode of The Office. But you can do that. They have a playlist, which is great. Anyway, let's move on. Continuing on, Amazon Music Unlimited subscribers can now borrow, I thought I took this away, an audiobook from Audible's library. You can listen to one audiobook a month as Amazon bites back at Spotify, written by Chris Holt over at Engadget. Spotify's been doing the audiobook thing. I don't know how well that's going for them, but Audible is part of Amazon. Amazon Music is a part of Amazon. And if Spotify can make audiobooks work, and if people are falling for that scheme, then why doesn't Amazon do the same thing? These arms should talk to each other, and I'm sure that they don't want to step on. Amazon doesn't want to step on money making from Audible, but people are going to buy audiobooks regardless. So let's hop to it. They don't want to cannibalize it. You can still get Premium Plus subscription where you get one free audiobook, but you also get a bunch of other on-demand stuff that you can't get on Amazon Music Unlimited. So you borrow the book, and you don't have to own it. You can just borrow the book. You can listen to the book as many times as you want, which I don't know why you would, during that month, and then at the end of the month, it just goes back. Amazon Music Unlimited, I believe, is a high quality music service in the same way that Apple Music is, but I don't really care. I don't listen to it. Spotify started offering premium subscribers 15 hours of audiobook listening per month at no extra cost. You won't be able to finish a giant book because a lot of audiobooks are like, not a lot, but some audiobooks are like 20 hours. You can add 11 additional hours of listening time for $11. Oh, that's so stupid. Just get Audible, man. Okay. Let's move on. PBS and Amazon have a new deal that is very groundbreaking. This comes from Dade Hayes. These are old stories. At Deadline, milestone PBS Amazon deal will bring 150 local stations, 2 new fast channels to Prime Video. Prime Video is really, really stepping up its game in what would be, I would say, a new traditional version of cable television, in that you can now get Apple TV Plus on it. You can get Paramount Plus on it, which comes with its own streaming channels. You can get Max on it, which now comes with its own streaming channels. You can get Crunchyroll, which you can simulcast anime on there. It's crazy. And along with other niche things like AMC Plus, BritBox, the rest. Acorn, if you're still a Britophile, Anglophile. As in the long-standing linear broadcast model, station programming will only be available to viewers located in a given market. The new national offerings, PBS Drama and PBS Documentaries, as well as PBS Kids, will be available everywhere. I don't know what this exactly means. The PAC marks the first time PBS programming will be available for free, there you go, on major streaming service. PBS Drama and PBS Documentaries will be available exclusively for a limited time on Prime Video starting November 26th. PBS distribution will also offer a quote-unquote pop-up fast channel featuring a rotating selection of classic PBS shows, starting with Reading Rainbow. In order to preserve the primacy of stations in the public broadcasting ecosystem, programming on the fast channels will be at least 5 years removed from its original broadcast window, which means that every show, documentary, whatever, is going to be 2021. Good boy. Companies are really leaning into fast because, again, people just sometimes want to leave things on. They want to go to Roku channel. They want to go to Pluto TV. They want to go to Tubi and just leave television on. Go do something else. They don't want to have to think. It takes out the immediacy. This is good. This is big. They also just signed a PBS and its writers signed a new deal, I think. Don't quote me on that. I wonder if this is up now, though. I have not had a chance to see. Also, I wish on Amazon you could just favorite channels, like fast channels, because I think that would be much better. I have to utilize the recent section whenever I just want to watch, 90s kids cartoons or whatever and movies. That's it. I don't want to see anything else because there's 100 or so fast channels and a lot of it's crap. Hell's Kitchen is on every single free streaming platform. All right. And this last story comes from Deadline, written by Mike Fleming Jr. John Watts explains demise of George Clooney and Brad Pitt Wolf sequel after streaming pivot. John Watts was the one who stepped away from the movie. Now, if you didn't see Wolves, it was a movie starring Brad Pitt and George Clooney about two fixers as they have to hide a body. Is that what it was? Because I watched it and then it came out. Anyway, I think it was a good movie. I thought it was very funny, and I thought it was a dark comedy, I guess, because it wasn't really a drama. But I think everybody did a great job. I still cannot remember the story. And this one kid had, and there weren't any people of color in it. And this one kid had a monologue that was pretty good. But all the characters in the movie could have been a person of color. Anyway, it was well directed and pretty well written, and I enjoyed it. And I didn't know there was going to be a sequel, and I do see room for a sequel, with them teaming up again because they work alone. But the problem is Apple. It wasn't John Watts. It wasn't the reception of the movie. It wasn't the actors. The problem was Apple. John Watts was promised in his contract for this movie, for Wolves, that it would be released theatrically. And Deadline revealed plans for a sequel. At the same time, we divulged that Apple had moved off plans for a full theatrical release in favor of a limited one with a quick jump to the streaming site. This followed Fly Me to the Moon's inability to measure up in its extended box office run. So basically what happened is they promised, that the movie would come out in theaters and then will be released, kind of like Napoleon, the Oscar bait movie from last year by Ridley Scott. It was released theatrically, and then it was released on Apple TV Plus. But it was a long time before it was released on Apple TV Plus. My man, Maverick, chill out. But Fly Me to the Moon, starring Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum, didn't do too well. And actually, that movie just hit Apple TV Plus, I think, recently. They put Wolves out within like a week or so of it dropping in theaters for a limited time. And John Watts is just frankly pissed. He said Apple was extremely enthusiastic about the movie and immediately commissioned me to start writing a sequel, but their last minute shift from a promised wide theatrical release to a streaming release was a total surprise and made without any explanation or discussion. I wasn't even told about it until less than a week before they announced it to the world. I was completely shocked and asked them to please not include the news that I was writing a sequel. Wow, he had already made the decision. Hey guys, I ain't doing this. Which is smart. I would do the exact same thing. I don't want somebody taking that away from me. Sorry, I just had to open something up. He didn't want to talk about it because he was proud of the film and didn't want to generate any unnecessary negative press. Nobody commented for the record, but sources close to Apple consider the movie a success and remain open to a sequel. But I think, this and some other previous things that they've done with movies, including Fly Me to the Moon, including Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon, things that they've done, all these missteps that they've taken, has really put a wrench in the workings of what Apple would consider making TV and movies. I don't know if I would necessarily jump to them if I wanted to make a TV show or movie. I'm speaking as somebody who is currently working in the industry. No, I'm not. I would jump with them in a heartbeat. But this does, ripping the rug from under people like this is kind of showing your hand and saying that, hey, we really only care about success. Whereas there are other companies who will at least pretend to care about both things. It stinks to have such, we saw Clooney and Brad Pitt appear on Jimmy Kimmel Live and do late night shows and do press and all this stuff. And this is supposed to be a big return to form for both of them. But Apple just kind of took the air out of the balloon. It feels very deflated, and now that it is just something that doesn't make sense anymore. Kind of like The Sins. And people might not be going to theaters, but you have to look at the types of movies you're putting in theaters. And yes, while I love going to see comedies, and I'll watch a comedy in a theater and I'll watch a comedy at home, I'll watch an action movie in a theater, I'll watch it at home, I'll watch a musical, a drama, whatever. And there's other people who just go, since the pandemic, hey, I don't want to go to movies anymore because it's going to come to streaming at some point. Or people who are like, I only watch movies in theaters. I'm going to see Rocky, a replay of Rocky, the celebration of Rocky in the theater at a theater that's out of my way. Be one of those jerks on both sides. Both people are jerks. While all of those do exist, I think you have to look at what movies you're putting out. Piece by Piece, I don't think did very well, but it's a movie I enjoyed because it's a Lego movie. It tells the story of Pharrell, and it was funny and everything. Wolves was fantastic to watch, but I watched it at home on a Friday night on the one. I gotta tell you, it's when all of my workouts come to a head and my body says it's time to sleep because you've been waking up at 3:30 every morning since Monday. It's time to sleep. And Friday at 8 p.m. when I start a movie or I start playing a video game, because it happened with I was playing the Guardians of the Galaxy game on PlayStation 5. I fell asleep in the middle of myself playing it. I fall asleep in the middle of movies. But when you go to a theater, let's pretend it's not Wicked. Let's pretend it's not Gladiator 2. When you go to a theater, it's an event. I'm going to see Pharrell's Piece by Piece. I'm going to be the only one in the theater. This woman, I was one of 4 people in that theater, but this woman who was a grandmother was there with her grandchild. And I think the kid, because he was still wearing a onesie, but he was able to walk. He was like a toddler. I'll say he was like 2 or 3. But this kid was like, wow, 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 throughout the movie, which did not piss me off because I could recognize it was a young child, and I was in a children's movie. I saw Moana 2, and there were no children in that movie theater. It's very true. This past Tuesday, it was like all adults. Oh my god! In Moana 2, there were no children. It was all adults. At least there were no children that I saw. But in Piece by Piece, it was me, this older woman, her grandson, and somebody else. And the credits rolled, and then she left, and then I left, and I saw like she's like holding the kid's hand, the kid's like trying to walk, and she goes up to the first worker that she saw at the AMC, and she goes, "Did you see Piece by Piece?" Just so funny. Did you see Piece by Piece? Oh, it was wonderful. I loved just the music was great and it looked so good. And the kids saying like, wah, wah, wah. Just to see this older woman just enjoy Pharrell and his music. Oh my God. It was so funny. I left and I was like smiling. Anyway, but Apple is taking away by with Apple like pulling the rug from under their directors and writers and their actors like this, they are saying they don't have confidence in this movie, and it's in these movies and these TV shows, and it's been made. If you the same confidence you have for Severance, but to put it out week by week, let's say Severance season 1, and you had no idea that was going to be the show that it is, and be received the way that it was and that it is now. People are like itching for season 2, even after all these years. You have to have that same type of confidence for Fly Me to the Moon, for Wolves, for every movie you put out. That same Napoleon, that even if Napoleon didn't do as well, and you had Ridley Scott and his Joaquin Phoenix, and you had this whole big thing, and you put out an extended version of it, even if you had all that, you have to have that same confidence with the smaller stuff. And by taking that away from John Watts and Clooney and Brad Pitt and everybody that worked in that movie, you're making people go, even in this time of, contraction inside of the entertainment industry, people are going, I don't know if I want to take my movie to Apple. I don't know if I want to take my show to Netflix, because what if it gets canceled in 2 seasons, in 1 season, Anyway, that's it. Listen, if you liked what you heard here, head to the website cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to famous people sometimes. If you want to see a video version of that interview, head to youtube.com/cpluscomedy. See me and Ryan Hansen chop it up, baby. That's already up, even though this is 2 weeks late. If you want to see video versions of the other podcasts, Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show and LinkedIn Logs, the Jobs Podcast, head to youtube.com/cpluscomedy. Subscribe to those shows wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, I forgot the other social media thing, and Blue Sky, Facebook, and Blue Sky at C Plus Comedy. Follow me on most of those platforms at Chad Black White, at least one of them. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Right now. See ya.